We wake up and I get a text. My head is throbbing, as you'd expect.
Right.
Because when you're on Adderall, you can drink unlimited amounts of booze.
Right.
And so you're not keeping up with the water drinking and you get really dehydrated. I grab my phone, but actually before I even grab my phone and get any news.
I was doing a thumbnail face.
I thought you were mocking me. It's okay.
No, I was doing a thumbnail.
I start hearing, it sounds like it's 9/11 outside. And I'm in World Trade Center South Tower.
Okay.
Meaning I'm thinking jetliners are buzzing the 27th floor of the Mandalay Bay.
It's that windy in Vegas.
I realize it's really fucking windy outside.
How does this happen? I don't think I've ever had something canceled because of wind before.
Do you want me to explain the concept of high pressure zones and where the wind comes from?
Nah, it's all right. But so there was a lot of wind.
And I'd seen it on the weather app a couple days leading up to this.
Right.
And everything was beautiful in Las Vegas, Monday through Friday, and Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. Saturday had the little icon.
Okay. That's what you imagine the sound of the icon to be. That's wind for everybody out there.
I start texting my buddy who lives in Vegas. I'm like, dude, it says there's going to be a windstorm on Saturday. Gusts up to 60 miles per hour. And you think music festivals, you're thinking the big towers, the stages.
That's what I'm saying. Everything seems pretty heavy. It's not going to blow away, right?
But then again, those things are sails, dude. The
What?
stages look like Spanish galleons up there. They just have, because behind the stage are all the LED screens, all the banners that say, like, the starting line, August burns red.
Right.
It's like a gigantic corsair, like a ship. And that scares me. When I put those two things together, oh yeah, I was worried about the wind, and now it sounds like a 747 is buzzing my hotel window.
Wow.
I throw open the curtains. The palm trees are all horizontal.
Wow.
With wind. And I got a text from one of the dudes I met at the bar that night. Dude, I heard the festival's canceled. So fucking sorry, man.
Wow.
This festival that I'd planned on going to for 6 months.
That they probably planned for, like, I don't know, at least a year.
Yes. And it was
dozens of people working their asses off on this project. Millions of dollars spent booking some of the biggest bands in the world.
Paramore, Avril Lavigne, My Chemical Romance, Bring Me the Horizon. Next year, it's going to be Green Day, Blink-182. This is a really top dollar festival.
Let's see what the wind has to offer next year.
Dude, I don't know if I'm going to go. But also, like, these bands were all the kind of bands where you like 4 songs.
Yeah.
The kind of bands that if they rolled through your city, you would never stay up late and have to work. You wouldn't risk being tired the next morning to go see the Story of the Year, for instance.
I like this idea, though. They should all have, like, 20-minute sets.
Exactly.
Because most of them don't really have that much more than that to offer.
Yeah. And the only way I would ever go see any of these bands is if they were all together and it was one big super event.
And they're like, most of these bands are in that situation where they would be playing clubs to like 300 people all over America. But instead, they bring them all together where you get to have a million people. It makes you feel famous for a minute.
Absolutely. Like the lead singer from Armor for Sleep, like he better have fucked this weekend because it's been slow in that regard since 2007.
Right.
But all of those bands, I'm so excited to see them. This is my childhood going on here, and it's canceled.
Right.
And right after they cancel it, chaos starts erupting all over the strip. I really regret that I wasn't out there filming a video because it would have been fascinating.
Crazy stuff starts happening because there's all these frustrated indie rock fans?
Yes.
Really?
And the indie rock fans that are going out there, we saw them all over the strip. They're all between 30 and 40 years old. They're all predominantly working class, I would say. Adam, you're in the 1% of guys with face tattoos.
Right.
As far as income goes. Most of the people who look like you work in muffler shops.
Right.
They work at Jiffy Lube. And now they've flown from wherever. Somewhere in the panhandle of Florida. They've flown from Ohio to get out here.
Yeah.
Probably spent a week or two's salary on all the travel accommodations and nothing. That day's canceled. You can buy tickets to Sunday and maybe postpone your flight, but that's going to cost you an extra 500 bones to get those tickets.
But you were only planning on going for one day.
Yeah, because I had set aside time that like, hey, Saturday, I've got my schedule cleared. I can get fucked up. I can recover on Sunday and get shit I need to get done on Monday again.
Right.
I can get right back to work. My schedule won't allow for me to go get fucking hammered on a Sunday night and then drive home from Las Vegas at 11 p.m.
And there is no option to go to this sort of event and not get hammered to you at this point in your life.
I don't think so.
Right.
I mean, do you want to see a bunch of 40-year-old men play songs about teenage heartbreak sober?
I don't want to go to this thing in general, so it's kind of hard for me to imagine. Like, I don't know, but you know what occurs to me though is that I feel like my mental state, like I have this thing where once I start to expect something and then I don't get it, my brain goes to like, I'm annoyed. And so when I think about the threesome thing, it's like if I never at any point thought I was gonna have a threesome in the night and then we don't have a threesome, what the fuck do I care?
Yeah.
But if you're like bringing the stripper home, all like it's getting so close, and then it's like, oh no, she has something comes up, which
in
is
the elevator lobby.
Yeah, that's just like. Fuck, I could just imagine, and especially my drunk animal brain, I could imagine myself being like pretty fucking annoyed. But then it's the same thing with this festival. It's like a random Saturday in Vegas doesn't seem too bad. Like we can figure out all kinds of stuff to do. But when I think that I'm going to have this specific experience and then that's taken away from me, something has to happen with that energy, and it might just be me acting a fool at the Wynn, ordering a few too many cocktails.
Yes.
I don't know. Not at this point in my life, but maybe.
And that's what starts happening.
Yeah.
So right away, all of the lower tier bands, the bands that were playing during the daylight hours, they start talking about doing secret pop-up shows all over Las Vegas. My Chemical Romance, those kind of guys, they're not going to be able to find a venue on short notice. It's too big of an operation. But these little bands start announcing, hey, we're going to be at Skip's Barbecue at 9 p.m. tonight. Armor for Sleep and the Starting Line are a bunch of jackoffs. Hawthorne Heights, they announce a show at the Stratosphere. They somehow lock down an arena that wasn't in use at the Stratosphere, and that one in particular becomes the rallying point for all these pissed off drunk emo kids who flew out from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay.
My girlfriend and I start leisurely getting ready for that. Like, oh yeah, we'll go see these bands. I know like 2 songs by each of those bands. Didn't give a fuck, but
Something
I really,
to do.
And mostly for journalistic purposes, I wanted to see what was going on.
Well, you came here, you got to do something, yeah.
Well, I check my Twitter maybe 15 minutes after the show was announced, maybe 30 minutes, but the Stratosphere has security guards herding emo kids en masse away from the building. It sold out, or it reached occupancy in the time it took for people to get an Uber.
Wow.
And the festival was right across the street from the Strat, so all of those dejected, ready to riot emo kids just charged to the Stratosphere and stormed this auditorium. So Twitter videos start emerging, and I might send Josh some after this. Those videos start emerging of people just screaming and yelling and basically just carrying on in the Stratosphere main lobby.
Right.
Like ready to start fucking raping cocktail waitresses, holding up the casino cage.
It's like Woodstock 99. You got nothing to do, and all these people are frustrated. They feel like they've been taken advantage of, so they're just, the energy becomes way different, huh?
Yeah. But I mean, thankfully, when your favorite band is Dashboard Confessional
no
versus
Limp Bizkit,
Korn, it's the energy's a little bit more subdued. But that starts happening, and then we look at the All-American Reject show that got scheduled at a barbecue place. Immediately, that has a line almost a mile in length.
Yeah, because how many people can the barbecue place have? Like a couple hundred?
At most.
Yeah, so I mean, that sounds crazy as fuck when you've got 20,000 people that were going to go to this festival, right?
I know, and it's just like... And again, to get back to that point we were talking about earlier.
Or more. I guess the festival's bigger. Festival's like 60,000, right?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. But like, it's one thing to wait on the sidewalk of a barbecue place for 4 hours to see all of those bands, but when all you're going to be hearing is that shitty swing song.
Ooh, that band's good, though.
And
that's a good song.
You like that song?
Yeah, I do like that song.
And Gives You Hell.
You look like the guy from that band.
It's a compliment. That guy's sexy.
Okay.
I think he's a male model. But I'm not going to wait in that line. There's a picture, dude, that I'm going to have Josh definitely insert right here of a guy dressed up like one of the marching band members from the My Chemical Romance Black Parade crying on a curb.
Shut the fuck up.
That emerged somewhere around this time.
Oh, I can't
around 3 p.m.
To see this.
We got to get it brought up. I can't believe I didn't screenshot
Crying because he didn't get into the show?
Dude, the amount of time he spent on his makeup that morning, he probably got up at 5 a.m., and this is probably all he could think about. Like, he might have got fired from his job because he was so mentally distracted all summer. about seeing Gerard Way in the flesh.
This has been a clip from my new podcast, SledgeLords with Danny Mullen. We're dropping a new episode every week, so either hit the link in the description or search up the Adam22 channel on YouTube. Appreciate you guys.